FBAs, foundational Black Americans, aren't immigrants, nor are we comparable to immigrants in any way, shape, form, or fashion. See, us FBAs never ran, never fled, never will. We're still on our ancestral homeland as foundational Black Americans, which is the USA, unlike these fleeing tethers, who left and fled their homeland because, it was in shambles and being oppressed, all because they couldn't come together in solidarity and unity and get on code with one another enough to knock the oppression and injustice down. See, we as foundational Black Americans, we've been racially targeted. We faced Jim Crow. Our ancestors were enslaved right here on American soil. And we're still, racially targeted on up until this day. But the difference between us is we never ran, never fled, never will, and we see racial targeting, injustice, and oppression as a barrier that needs knocked down by any means necessary. Unlike these fleeing tethers, when the going gets tough, all they know is tuck their tails and seek out the high road. See, a default programming in a tether's mindset, whenever the going gets tough, all they know is to flee. Why you think all of these, Mexican tethers and tethers in general is trying to, have Black and brown unity now, want, minority coalitions, this, that, and the other. And that's because, their asses is being held to the fire and they can't withstand the heat, because when we as foundational Black Americans, when we wanted unity, they shit on us left and right every chance they got in hopes of aligning themselves with the dominant white society. So the days of collaboration are over. They can miss me with it. There's a new sheriff in town, and that new sheriff in town is lineage based, which means we looking out for other FBA brothers and sisters' needs first and foremost, because Mexicans are some of the biggest anti-FBA people there are on the planet. They'll throw out that N-word at the drop of a dime. Even these melanated tethers, they know better either. They call us cotton pickers, Akatas, this, that, and the other. Why you think these Trump mass protests, the No King protests, ain't gaining no traction? It's a large turnout, but it ain't gaining no traction because it ain't got us FBAs out there advocating for it, standing on the front line, being the moral compass. See, we as foundational Black Americans, we're the moral compass of this whole nation. We fought civil rights, we fought racial targeting, race soldiers, we were enslaved on this land, and they just ain't got the majority spirit to really give, these mass protests that they doing authenticity. So it lacks authenticity because it ain't got us foundational Black Americans being out there on the front lines and advocating for it. See, these other groups of people, are used to getting everything they got handed to them on a silver platter. They used to having a starting point. We as foundational Black Americans never had a starting point. We got it out the mud. Everything we've gotten, we take nothing and turn it into something. So these tethers could, truth be told, cry till they blue in the face for FBA mommy and daddy to get out there and save them. We ain't saving a damn soul but ourselves. We looking out for FBA lineage first and foremost. We taking care of the home front first and foremost. So and in closing, what I want to say to the tethers and all of these people that's trying to attach us to the mass deportation thing is, if you can't stand the heat, get your ass out the kitchen. In this case, the kitchen is America. Just my thoughts on the matter. Peace.